Laurie, will you introduce yourself for us, please?
Certainly. Laurie Pearcey, I'm Pr-Vice-Chancellor International at UNSW Sydney. I also have another role as Chief Executive Officer of UNSW Global, which is a wholly owned, not-for-profit subsidiary of the university, which specialises in providing high-quality pathways for international students.
Okay, wonderful. So there have been lots of students going from South Asia, from India as well as other countries. So what is the attraction of UNSW?
So we're a top-ranked university. We are ranked in the top 50. Indeed, we are 43rd globally according to the 2019 US World University Rankings. We have around 20 individual subjects that are ranked in the QS top 50. So we're a high-quality university, and also we are very welcoming and supportive of international students. And this year we are celebrating the university's 70th anniversary. So we were established in 1949, and when we were the babies in 1952, we welcomed our first cohort of international students from the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, and Greater China. And we were the first university in Australia to welcome students from the Indo-Pacific region. And so, because of that heritage, as well as our excellence, we are a university of choice for many, many international students. And we're known for many different areas. So, for example, we are winning the race to build the world's first commercially viable quantum computer. For the last 30 years, we've held the world record for producing the world's most efficient silicon solar cell technology. Around 95% of the world's solar panels are built using UNSW technology. So we're a science, engineering, and technology powerhouse. We also have an outstanding business school where our accounting and our finance is ranked 10th globally. Our law school is ranked 16th globally. And we have a very strong commitment to the humanities and the professions, and seeing how that aligns with science and technology. I've been told that Mahatma Gandhi once said that science without humanity is one of the world's deadly sins, and we're a great believer in science with and for humanity. And that, I think, has been true for the last 70 years, in that we believe in fantastic knowledge discovery, excellent frontier research, really excellent science, but at the same time we're very focused on its application and its impact in society.
Excellent. So what are the STEM subjects? Science, technology, engineering and medicine are the subjects that are the preferred ones for South Asians. So is that true for UNSW, and has it been changing a little bit over the years?
Yes, it's a very good question, and it has, and our STEM subjects are still very, very strong. And if you were a student attending one of our India Open Days across India over the last week, and you looked at our engineering faculty, you'd be queuing for a very long time. Still very popular, because we have Australia's largest and most highly ranked faculty of engineering that specialises in, obviously, the traditional engineering fields, but also alternative areas such as photovoltaic and renewable energy engineering, biomedical engineering. And so our engineering faculty is very good. And so the STEM subjects are still almost the core of the demand that we see from South Asia, but we're seeing growing interest in, for example, our Faculty of Art and Design, our Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, which I'm a proud graduate of, has recently launched a PPE degree, Politics, Philosophy and Economics, which is very popular in South Asia, and we've only just launched that, but we're starting to see growing interest there. And our Faculty of Built Environment is one of the strongest faculties in terms of demand, which is growing from India. And I think that in many ways that's a reflection of where India is going around its own urbanisation agenda. The government here is focused on smart cities, and I think young people who are living in urban centres in India and looking at the phenomenal challenges that go with rapid urbanisation, I think that they can see a future there. And that's one of the reasons why our faculty built environment is growing. It's also highly ranked internationally. We have very good partnerships here in India. So for example, last year we worked with TERI here in Delhi to co-create and co-design TERI's flagship Griha Summit, which is all about sustainability, smart cities, and how we can take great science and great knowledge discovery from classrooms and laboratories, and how do we put it into practice into cities so that they can be more sustainable and more livable. And then what we see is really strong collaboration between our architects and our urban planners with people who are working in our solar engineering faculty and other parts of the university. So the actual collaboration that we see across our faculties, we break down those silos that exist at a disciplinary level, and I think that students can see that. They can see that throughout their education and the way that the university campus is structured. So they're just a few of the areas that we see growing.
And one of the interesting things are the collaborations you have across institutions and governments, which must be interesting for internships as well as perhaps employability.
Absolutely, and a really good example is our business school has something called the Global Business Practicum, which will take students to different cities across Asia, whether it's Bangkok, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Singapore, and indeed most recently Mumbai, where we have our students who are working in small teams embedded with a local industry partner working on projects. So it's work integrated learning combined with a really exciting international experience. And the teams that we have working in Mumbai, they worked with Tata Consultancy Services, and indeed some of the students who returned from that program subsequently were recruited as graduates into TCS. And so we've got really interesting partnerships with industry, and in many of our faculties and in many of our disciplines, internships are compulsory. And so in engineering, for example, a requirement to be a professionally accredited engineer in Australia requires that students do 60 days of industrial training, and so that's embedded at the core of the curriculum. But at the same time, in addition to internships, we're also big believers in things like student-led projects. And so our engineering students collaborate with others from across the university every year on a project called SunSwift. And SunSwift is about building a solar car, and they participate in solar car races globally, and we consistently hold the world record for the world's fastest solar car, and that's actually built by our students. And so I think industry look at that, and obviously there's the engineering side to it, but then we have teams from our business school who are working on the business fundamentals of what it takes to stand up a project like that. And so our graduates are very much in demand, and it's borne out by the evidence. So recently, the Good Universities Guide in Australia, UNSW was ranked #1 in the group of 8 for graduate starting salaries. So our graduates earn very substantial amounts of money upon graduation, and we also have the highest employment rate. So our graduates are in demand because they can see that our graduates, of course, they have very strong academic credentials, and what they experience in the classroom, in their lectures and their tutorials is second to none, but also the work that they do outside of the classroom is really strong. And that's what sets them apart, because industry are looking for graduates who thrive in ambiguity, rapidly evolving environments and situations and workplace contexts, because that's the reality of the 21st century economy. So they want graduates who are prepared to work in a disruptive world. And UNSW graduates, you can find that in spades. And one of the things that I think embodies that is the UNSW Founders Program, which is designed to give every student at UNSW a taste of entrepreneurship. And so they have a round of maker spaces, design thinking sessions where students can work on prototypes. It's designed to be agnostic of one's discipline, and they have events with mentors from the town, investors, and then for the very best projects where students are actually ready to go and start their own businesses, we put them into an accelerator program. There is a global component to that, so in fact just last night here in New Delhi, we had the finals of what we call the UNSW Founders Health 10X Accelerator Project.
How was that?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you would have seen what it's all about. And from a student point of view and an industry point of view, and what companies tell us is that even if I'm HSBC or I'm Citibank or I'm the Bank of Baroda or if I'm a Big Four accounting firm or whatever, even if I'm a traditional player in the economy, I want to recruit people who have a capacity to disrupt, people who get innovation, people who get startups, because companies everywhere are on the cusp of being themselves disruptive, and so they want to embed that capability into their businesses. So that doesn't mean that all of our graduates will go on to found Facebook, become a Mark Zuckerberg. Indeed, many of them do, and we produce Australia's largest number of technology entrepreneurs. But at the same time, even if they don't go on to become a unicorn out there in startup land, even if they go and work for a traditional company, they've lived and breathed that world, and I think that's what's going to stand up students for success.
Okay, excellent.
Good.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.